Greetings my saplings, in today's video we are going to be discussing the Yeezy 350 V2 True Form. Specifically in today's video, like always, we will be mentioning some release info for the sneaker, how to cop them, and of course, like always, some resale predictions. Today we're specifically going to be focusing on the True Form, and that's because I have a lot of information for you guys and I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long, and I think that's what you guys care about the most anyway. But I did want to mention to you guys, just so you know what's going on this weekend, some other notable drops would include the Phantom Jordan 1s. For the EU drop, the US drop will be the 30th for those of you wondering. The Mars Landing Air Max, Undercover Converse, both colorways, that of which what is left from the Converse release that occurred today. Frog Blazers, Hyperspace in Asia, and also the Clay for those of you wondering. Those never loaded up on any sites yet. They will be dropping on the 30th for the United States. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the True Form, and it makes sense. Not only is it going to be profitable, but it's a good looking sneaker. And this is going to pertain for US citizens and also European citizens. Kicking it off with the release info, this shoe drops March 16th, this Saturday, for $220, although it's not actually in dollars because there's no US stores releasing them. But you will notice that the price sort of fluctuates. Some retailers will charge 190 euros or so, which comes close to 220, or some may charge 220 euros, but still I would not worry about that, and I'll tell you why as we get to the resale predictions. But as of now, let's discuss how you can get your hands on these. First of all, yes, the sites I will be mentioning will ship to the US. Obviously, the shipping will be a lot more, and I will dedicate a portion of this video to sites only dropping in Europe for all of my European supporters out there. Also, don't worry about the fluctuations of the retail prices. Again, we'll talk about that later, even if some of them scare you now. Kicking it off with one site I really like is BSTN. The site states that it goes live at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. However, this isn't the case. It will go live 10 minutes before, sometimes 10 minutes after. I would suggest checking the site at 2:50 a.m. Eastern Time. If you do see a waiting room, by the way, simply refresh the page a few times and you'll get through. But also suggest bookmarking the cart link. The only bot that's really doing well, and this is why I suggest going manual, is Dream. And BSTN has been messing with their endpoints, so you never know what could happen. All I'm saying is it's worth a try if they go live before 3 a.m. Eastern Time, but if they don't, there's other stuff I want you to focus on that is directly at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm just mentioning this in case it goes live beforehand. You have something to do for that 10 minutes. Moving on, 43 and Hob, if I even pronounced that right. I may have been pronouncing this name wrong for 2 years, I don't know. But anyway, you can go manual here and you can actually get started right now. Go onto the site 43andhob.com and select a size when you get to the product page and click Remind Me Later. When it reminds you, it'll actually email you a password to access the page when it goes live at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Also at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, I urge you to check out a like store. My biggest tip here would be to simply make an account before the release and add your address to it. Moving on to the next site though, I've mentioned this before, but I actually really do recommend Solebox now. I used to really hate Solebox, but now it's become quite a site that I've enjoyed a lot, specifically because they purchased bot protection from a company called Parameter X, and the code is extremely long. Not only that, but it's constantly changing. Right now, I don't know any bots that actually work on the site. So yeah, I would suggest giving this a shot if you're manual. The queue tends to go live 45 minutes beforehand. This also does depend on traffic. So yeah, don't sleep on Solebox, guys. And again, I did want to mention to you guys that there are sites I leave out in these videos, specifically because I know that most of my audience is manual, so we're discussing the manual tips here. And I know that there's going to be a lot of sites where it's just going to be completely fruitless to give your time and effort to, and with drops like this, you really have to prioritize. One prime example would be Size. Size is getting absolutely destroyed right now. I would not recommend trying it. But anyway, moving on to the next site, you could try Ubervar as well at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. The retail is very fair here too, which I'm a huge fan of, but that also would lead to more competition, of course, so maybe you don't want to focus on here. It's up to you. And moving on to 6 a.m. Eastern Time, you could actually try one block down. Now, for European viewers only, if you are in the United States, you cannot purchase from here unless you set up a reshipper, which isn't hard at all. It only takes about 2 minutes to set up an account from anyone. Just type in on Google reshipper. There's tons of services. But anyway, Foot Locker will be dropping at the usual time. I wouldn't really recommend Foot Locker specifically because it gets botted really hard. Europe Yeezy Supply, I probably wouldn't recommend either, specifically because retail is normal here, but shipping is going to be $100, so you might want to stay away from there. Hopefully if you bought slots from someone, they don't accidentally run them on Yeezy Supply and charge you $100 for that shipping. That would be quite unfortunate. Anyway, also your best shot if you're going to be in Europe, and my favorite site, as you guys know, Adidas. This will be Adidas Europe. It will go live. By live, I mean stock going live at 2 a.m. Eastern time. You get your Chrome users set up in the waiting room approximately 15 minutes before. You really don't need a lot. All you really need is 25 or so. There's going to be about 40,000 pairs on Europe alone instead of it being spread out to other countries, so you're going to have a fantastic shot at getting these. For all of my US citizens who want to give it a shot on Adidas.com, you will need a reshipper, and for the reshipper, just make sure your billing address is accurate. It's actually your billing address, but your shipping address is the reshipper's shipping address. It's really not that difficult, but I do want to stress the point that it is $50 to ship plus a $5 reshipping fee for most services. Sometimes they let you do the first time free, but overall, like I said, UPS is usually like $80 to the United States. Some services are $45, but I try to stay away from them specifically because they've taken up to months to get to my house from offwhite.com. It's all up to you what you want to try though. It's just worth noting that the total is going to come to a lot if you use a reshipper. But anyway, with all that out of the way, why don't we talk about some resale predictions, because I know a lot of you guys care about that, of course. Now, although stock is quite significant for these, it's really not that crazy. I think 40,000 for Europe alone has scared a lot of people off, but there's not that much to be scared of. You have to understand that the majority of Yeezys are like this, in fact even less, because that 40,000 is spread out through multiple different areas. For example, the United States, that's where most of the demand is, but we're not getting anything in the United States. So evidently, it makes sense that Adidas Europe has such a huge number. Now, I'm not saying they're extremely limited, because they're far from that, but one thing to note is that demand is extremely high, not only in Europe, but in US. There's ridiculous demand for these things, specifically because it's not going to be easy at all for United States citizens to be able to obtain these. So I would definitely not recommend sleeping on these, even when it comes to the common sizes. Lately, we've been sticking to sizes under 7 and even 12.5 and sizes 14 and up. On some releases, we even only stick to size 16. Really, guys, for this one, I would suggest going for common sizes as well, and I wouldn't worry too much over the price fluctuations with some of these. Like, if you see 220 euros plus shipping, you still shouldn't worry about it. You still should be able to make some lunch money, although when it comes to those, maybe you stick to the smaller sizes on those. But overall, this is going to be a fantastic release profit-wise. Demand is ridiculous on these. Please do not sleep on them. With that, I'm going to conclude today's video, though. I wish you guys luck, of course. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you happen to be new here. With that, I'll conclude it. I know it was a lot of info, so I was trying to talk fast, get it all out, so you guys could get on with your day. I know you're busy people, so I'll see you later. Have a good one.
My way, knocking me over every single day. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
I should have run the other way. Now there's just one thing to say. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.